Hi third graders, it's Miss Sewell. Today we are going to begin the second part of our lesson on perimeter. Yesterday we completed page 320, which was the first part of the lesson on perimeter. Today we're going to move over to page 321 in our textbook for the second part of the lesson. So let's go ahead and begin from the top of the page. It says, estimate the perimeter of each real object in inches. And remember, the perimeter of a figure is going to be the distance around the figure. Then use your inch ruler to measure the perimeter of these objects to the nearest inch. So today we're going to be focusing on inches for this top part. So let's go ahead and look. It says to estimate a closed folder, an open folder, a textbook, a flat desktop. Now, you might not have these four objects at your house, and that's fine. What I want you to do is pick two of them, and I've written that on the directions for this page. And if you don't have these four things, just find some objects around the house. So like, for example, I found an envelope. I could measure the perimeter of this envelope in inches. Or a sticky note pad. Again, I can estimate first, and then measure around the notepad in inches. Because again, the directions say to estimate the perimeter of each real object in inches. So remember, an estimate is a guess. It doesn't have to be exactly correct, but it should be reasonable, which means that it shouldn't be terribly far off from what the actual measure would be. And I want to show you something in case, again, you don't have an inch ruler today, which I do have an inch ruler, but I want to show you something if you don't have an inch ruler. What you can do is take your finger, and from one joint to the other in your finger, if you fold it like this, I want you to notice, I'm going to move this as close as I can. You notice that from one joint to the other on your pointing finger, your index finger, it is exactly about an inch. And I say exactly, it's about an inch. So that would be a good estimate if you don't have a ruler handy. So let me go ahead and I'll demonstrate on this notepad. Okay, first I'm going to estimate, and I'm going to use my knuckle here, my joint on my finger. There's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to say about 3 for this side. Now this looks like it's a perfect square. Let me turn it over on this side. 1, 2, 3. So if this side is 3, this side is 3, what do you think this side is going to measure in inches? If you said 3, that would be a good estimate. What about this side? Again, it's a square. Think about what you know about a square. So if you said 3, I would think that would be a good guess for this side also. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is going to equal to what? If you said 12, that would be correct. Or you could use multiplication. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 3 inches on each side would be about 12 inches. So I'm going to say that for my estimate. Now I'm going to take my ruler. Using my inch side, let me go ahead and put it on the edge here. Look at that, 3 inches. So again, I'm going to turn it. Three inches. Wow. So my estimate, again, using my finger, was correct because I know that this is about an inch. So anyway, go ahead and find at least 2 objects around the house to estimate the perimeter, and then you can go ahead and actually measure if you have an inch ruler. And if you don't, just double check your answer again using your finger like we just reviewed. Now for 11 and 12, you have directions to follow. So just go ahead and follow the directions for 11 and 12. And I noticed right here, 11 says draw a figure with a perimeter of 14 inches. It may have any number of sides. So go ahead and as closely as you can if you're using your finger or if you have your ruler, you can draw it out first. And then you can actually measure it to see how close you are. And again, you don't have to erase your estimate because it's just a guess, as long as it's reasonable. And then for number 12, it says draw a figure with a perimeter of 20 centimeters and may have any number of sides. Again, remember from yesterday, we can use our pinky finger. Or if you have the ruler, you can go ahead and use the ruler to get a more accurate measure. And then for 13 through 18, actually up until 19 at the bottom, we have problem-solving problems. So what you want to do for these, and let's look at 13 as an example. Alice made a square frame for her needlepoint. What's the key there? I think the key would be that it's a square, because just like the pink notepad, think about what you know about a square. All of the sides are going to be equal. Each side measured 8 inches, so that gives you more information. What was the outside perimeter of the frame? Now, you know that when I'm doing this, I like to draw pictures. You don't actually have to draw it 8 inches, but you can draw it smaller scale and label it 8 inches. So you know that for me, I love to draw a picture to go with my, my word problem to help me solve it. But we've talked about in class, maybe you can picture it in your mind or use another strategy that we've talked about and learned about this year. So to answer those, 13 through 19, go ahead and pick a strategy that you think works for you to try and get these answers. Go ahead and you can complete this in your journal now. So I hope this works out for you, especially again with the little trick that we use with our finger, measuring from one joint to the next. So go ahead and complete page 321. Talk to you tomorrow, third graders.